This is a Global Original Podcast. Back in January 2020, the powder puff president of the USA, Hairspray Haystack, had recategorized pasta as a vegetable for children's school meals. I had come in suffering heroically from a dicky tummy. Boris Johnson had said something stupid. And a week before we left the European Union, I predicted more expensive food. How silly does that sound now?
He is a very sick and dangerous man.
Yes, I'm very sick. And my sickness is dangerous. Always wash your hands before and after coming into contact with me. Daryl says, since pasta is just a form of wheat, that means a burger bun is also a vegetable. With this kind of diet, Donald is really going to make Americans great again. Yeah. They don't need more calories, Donald Trump. Dave tweets, a bit of friendly advice, don't mock God. He exists. E-X-C-I-S-T-S. Which looks a little bit like exorcists. Is this a tweet from the devil? A bit of friendly advice, don't mock God. Hey, I tell you what, Dave, stick it. This is my religious belief. Are you criticizing me for my religious belief? Oh, well, thank God for that. Anyway, he exists. Whether you believe it or not is irrelevant. What is for sure is that you'll meet him one day and have to give an account for your actions. He's a mighty, holy, righteous God and should be respected. Yeah, right. Yeah, whatever you say, Dave. You've got proof. Proof positive. You read it in a book once. Hedy tweets, pasta is a fruit. I saw that black and white video where it was growing on trees in Italy. There you go. And we've just come around in a tight circle. Catford, hello, Steve.
Hello, Nick, again.
Steve. You're the bloke with the bad line, right?
Yes, I am.
God, it took a while.
There's so much. Your glamorous assistant is kind of... I don't know, you talk about so much.
Yeah.
The incidental stuff, the drummer of Rush died, apparently.
Yeah, Neil Peart, yeah.
Yeah, and I've never knowingly heard a Rush song.
Right.
I could name you one, and
how are they for you? Because it's not my taste at all.
It's not mine. I don't even know who or what they are.
It's a three-piece band from Canada, baby.
Yeah, and the same with AC/DC. You've sold more records than the Beatles.
That is well, I'm not sure that's true. I think the remarkable thing about AC/DC is how fantastically popular they are. It's one of those bands you think, oh, AC/DC, they're in the canon of rock and roll, right enough, but they're not, right at the toppermost. They're not at the top of the most successful bands ever, and they absolutely are. It's incredible how popular they are.
Sold enormous amounts of
massive amounts of money they've made. Yeah.
And I've never heard knowingly one of their records.
Oh, you're kidding me. I mean, I'll let you get away with not hearing Rush because, Geddy Lee's voice just way too high for me. It's a bit, it's just not my taste. I've just never been okay with them. Which is not to say, it's not a criticism of in any way. Millions of people love that band, but it's just not up my street. But AC/DC, you've never heard an AC/DC song. You must have done.
No, I've actually seen them live.
Yeah, me too. I saw the first tour that AC/DC ever did in this country.
No, I saw them with, it was AC/DC, there was UB40, there was support.
Wait. AC/DC and UB40 were on the same list.
Yeah.
That's a very bad idea. Can I just say that's a bad idea?
It is a bad idea. But they were supporting Bob Dylan.
Oh, where was that? No, don't tell me. Nebworth.
Stadium sometime in the 80s.
Right. Well, that's way too late, mate. You want to have been in there at the beginning. I think it was 76. It could have been 77. The first tour they ever did here, called the Sounds Lock Up Your Daughters tour, which was good advice. That was when that Angus Young, the guitarist who dresses as a schoolboy, that was when he was actually the age of a schoolboy. I think he was wearing his own uniform.
Yeah, and I have to admit, I didn't like the noise they emitted.
Come off it! That is pure rock and roll. AC/DC. How can you not like them?
Well, I don't know. I like melodic pop music.
Well, it is melodic. I mean, it's not thrash metal. There is a melody there.
Okay.
There's a story in every song. Usually it's about, drinking a lot and having sex with women.
Yeah.
Those kind of stories, Rock and roll stories.
Rock and roll!
Thanks a lot, Steve. 0345 6060 973. So maybe I should do this Boris thing now. God. Just when you thought you had heard everything, along comes this. Boris Johnson is looking to use the threat of high tariffs on German cars and French cheese to raise pressure on the European Union and the United States of America to strike trade deals with the UK. Did you hear that? Boris Johnson is threatening America and the EU with tariffs. He's not just Trump Britain. He's like a clone of Donald Trump. Just when you thought the leaders of this country could not say anything stupider, along he comes with this. They seem to have an infinite capacity for daftness. We are going to threaten the US and the EU with tariffs. Well, several things there. If more expensive products is the Brexit bonus, then I think the jury is in. We've been sold a pup. And unlike what Donald Trump insists on telling everybody, tariffs are paid by the consumer here, not by the manufacturers abroad.
I know nothing
about that or anything else. He keeps saying that. We're totally taxing China. We're taking lots of money. They're not taking any money. The money's going in the opposite direction, you giant orange numpty. And then there's the inconvenient truth that despite what the Dad's Army types insist on telling us, we need them more than they need us. We sell near to half what we produce to the European Union. And we'll need to continue to do that despite the tales of magic that Brexiteers go on about. We sell near to half of what we produce to the European Union. The EU, on the other hand, sell about 5% of what they produce to us. So in any trade war, we've lost before we even begin. So that Boris Johnson would say that out loud, threatening the US and Europe, before we've even started negotiations, suggests he has the same qualifications to run a country as his bestest orange buddy.
I'm president! Can you believe it?
And as for the fantastical notion that we patriotic Brits will stop buying German cars and French cheeses, I'll just halt you calling to tell me that. No, we won't. The reason we don't make any British cars anymore is that we bought foreign cars in such numbers that an entire industry died out. We buy whatever is cheapest in almost every case except cars. Because cars are an emotional purchase. We're not going to drive a Dacia Duster when we can buy a BMW. And besides, the purchase price isn't a thing anymore. People rent their cars. So the extra tax is going to be spread over years. You won't even notice it. We didn't stop buying coffee at Starbucks when there was that protest about tax. That boycott lasted about as long as it takes to froth milk. And we haven't stopped using Amazon despite the knowledge that it's killing the high street and putting shops out of business. And it's so tax efficient that in some years we end up owing them money. We aren't ethical consumers. We aren't patriotic consumers. We buy what we want and we don't care who suffers. Talking about phones, the phone in your pocket, whoever constructed that was probably living a life of misery. Throwing themselves off the buildings they were. And as for French cheese, well, we make cheese too. And guess where our biggest export market is, where we send the most of the cheeses we make? That's it, the European Union. 81% of the cheese that we export goes to the EU.
Oh, no.
And as for the cheese that we import, almost all of it comes from the EU. I bet you couldn't name a cheese that comes from outside Europe. Our cheese makes up a tiny 2.8% of worldwide cheese exports. 2.8%. Germany, the Netherlands, France and Italy and Denmark make up 54% of cheese exports worldwide between them. So if there's going to be tariffs, they are not paid. The tariffs aren't paid for by the country of origin. They're paid for by the consumer here. So what we're looking at is more expensive food, including, get ready, pizzas. More expensive pizzas. And more expensive food is the opposite of what that swizzle stick and nose picker told us that we were going to get if we voted out. And by the way, we've been doing pretty well on cheese exports lately. We just had our strongest year. And this government wants to upend all that so it can look tough on the world stage. Boris Johnson threatening the EU and the US with tariffs if they don't do as we want. That's like me going into a bar and threatening to punch Mike Tyson's lights out if he doesn't buy me a drink. I could beat Mike Tyson, though. That is a verifiable fact. All I need is a small tank. Hello, Camden. Hello, Claire.
Hi, Nick.
Claire.
I'm sorry about your incident, first of all.
Yeah, my incident. Yeah.
Yeah.
Multiple incidents, both ends, but let's gloss over that.
if pasta has been reclassified as a vegetable, can we reclassify the so-called Boris as a vegetable?
As a vegetable?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Because of his hair, which looks like straw, and straw is a kind of a plant, so it's plant-based.
Well, it's plant-based, but I don't think you could call straw a vegetable. Could you?
No. But if straws are usually plastic these days. And
no, not anymore. Paper now. We're all about saving the environment. Thanks, Greta. It's all paper now.
But in any case, all his promises and all his words, in fact, are as empty straws. So he should be reclassified.
He should be reclassified as a straw, or maybe a swizzle stick. Oh no, we got the swizzle stick, don't we? We already have the swizzle stick.
I don't know anything.
Him.
He should be reclassified as an empty straw.
As an empty straw, right? Yeah. That's the worst type. All right, thanks a lot, Claire.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers, my dear. What a nice lady. This says, tell your listeners that your caller is wrong. AC/DC did not play the Wembley gig with Bob Dylan in 1984. UB40 did, and also Carlos Santana, but not AC/DC. Carlos Santana. Now we're talking.
Yowza.
Can there be another band that has as good a guitarist who shies away from the spotlight as much as he does? Because normally, if you've got a really good guitarist in your band, they're right at the front, giving it the all that. But he doesn't, at all. Love your work. Sue says, nothing wrong with the Dacia, thank you very much. I'm not saying there is. I am saying that people would prefer to have a German car. They just would. They would. And it doesn't matter whether it is the ruination of our economy. They're not remotely interested. We're not ethical consumers. We just want what we want, and that's the end of it. Tom says, I think Apple has the ability to kick Trump out. Apple? The extra tariffs put in place by Trump have increased the cost of iPhones and Macs. Rather than pass on the extra costs to customers, they've decided to absorb the difference and say nothing. If Apple announced iPhones are increasing in price because of Trump's tariffs, the Americans might wake up to some of the lies that he's telling. Huh. Well, I didn't know that they hadn't passed the costs on. Of course, they're already eye-wateringly expensive. So maybe there's no room to pass those costs on. It's just a phone, people. Every phone's like every other phone, pretty much, aren't they? Obsessing about... this is back to Koyaanisqatsi, a life out of balance. We buy something that costs, in many cases, £1,000, and we treat it as a disposable product. Just like a tissue. Just use it up and throw it away. Matt says, I'm thinking of launching a campaign to rejoin the EU starting the 1st of February. Do you think as a low-income council tenant I can tap into get any government funding for it? Well, you could always have a go. Sure, why not? The government have assured us that they are now fully concerned about the little people, not leprechauns. I'll just wipe up some of these before we go into the news. Jim says, the Chinese erect 10-storey blocks of apartments in 3 weeks, complete from nothing to people moving in. It's amazing. They will build this hospital. Well, I don't doubt it, but it can't possibly be a real hospital, can it? Although, what's a real hospital? It's just a building with beds in it. Thomas tweets, how silly you will look when Brexit is a fantastic success. Simple sorry will suffice. Well, I'll say sorry, Thomas, if you do too.
So they opened their big mouths and out came talk. Talk.
Graham texts, we used to take Indian brandy for bad bowels. What, you mean Indian brandy gives you bad bowels? He says, morphine and... Oh, it's morphine and brandy. Oh, I could do with a couple of pints of that right now, as a matter of fact. Morphine and brandy. Wow, that sounds super duper.
Groovy.
He says, I don't think the chemists sell it anymore. Well, I wouldn't think so. But, psst, I know a bloke. It says another remedy was kaolin and morphine. Yet none of these things actually cured it, but you didn't care anymore. And this says, is Farage about to receive a gold-plated MEP pension? You know, I think he probably is. There was a big to-do a little while ago when people suggested politely if he might want to give that up, you know, considering that as a career politician, which is what he is, don't forget, he has spent his entire career trying to destroy the organisation that's now going to be giving him money. I think there's only one person in the EU who has a worse voting record than Nigel Farage.
I'm a nutcase.
And that person is under a lot of medical treatment, as in couldn't make it. So when they say that, you know, they're in there, working on our behalf, well, where's the evidence for that? Mark says, Monterey Jack is an American cheese and is real good, so please stop worrying. All will be fine. Yeah, I know about Monterey Jack. It's okay at best, but we don't like it. Otherwise, it would be available. When was the last time you saw Monterey Jack? I mean, it's okay, but it ain't no cheddar. It's not Ilchester or Morbier. Am I going to sit here and do the cheese shop sketch?
No.
No, of course not. Chelmsford. Hello, Adrian.
Hi, Nick. Good morning.
Adrian.
I just phoned up just to say that it was either earlier today or yesterday. I was watching a programme about after we come out of the Second World War, and we used to produce 91 to 95% of all food that the UK needed.
Yeah,
So
well, we had to.
Yeah, and we can do it again.
No, we can't.
Why?
Well, how many people used to live in this country at the end of the Second World War?
Oh, yeah. Good answer.
Okay, that was easy. All right, thanks a lot, Adrian. Cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, we can't produce enough food for ourselves. And besides, Donald Trump is going to insist for a trade deal on helping out America's farmers because those are his base. Those are the people that voted for him. You know, the hayseeds. Those people. I mean, he's already given them a bailout because they were hurting terribly badly from his stupid tariff war with China. Which, by the way, despite what Donald Trump will tell you over and over and over again, he didn't win. China won. By every measure. But, you know, let's not get bogged down in facts, because nobody's remotely interested in those anymore. Yeah, he will insist a complete open access to our food business. And as I said before, we are not ethical consumers. We're not patriotic consumers. We don't care where it comes from or really what's in it. I mean, just look at the tripe that we buy from supermarkets. You can tell what's the most popular thing because it's got the most shelf space. Is it quinoa?
No.
No. I don't even really know what quinoa is. It's a mush in a bowl. It tastes like... It has no taste. So when we see two chickens, one next to each other, and one is a chicken that was so happy during its life that it laughed itself to death, and that cost £10, and the chicken next to it cost £1.50, and it's been imported from America, we're not going to think twice. We'll go for the £1.50 one, which has been washed in chlorine. And I know people think, oh, so what's washed in chlorine? I'm washed in chlorine every time I go to the swimming pool, but it's the reason that they wash it in chlorine It's because the chickens over there have a terrible life, up to their little chicken eyeballs in fecal matter.
Disgusting.
And they got sores on their bodies and all the rest of it. That's why they have to wash it in chlorine. It's because it's cheaper to produce chickens like that. Just cram them all in a giant shed and let them get on with all their chicken ways. Of course, they actually can't get on with their chicken ways because they're crammed in so tight. They can barely turn it around. There's millions of them in sheds the size of football pitches. I don't know if the millions part is right, but so many that they don't have any room to move. And they say it's free range, or actually I don't know what the definition of free range is. But they'll put a picture on the chicken itself or the eggs, and some bucolic idyll, like I was saying yesterday, the darling buds of May. But the truth of it is, they're huge sheds that you need binoculars to see the end of, stinking of chicken poop. And they may be able to access the outside if they could move, but it'll be a small door about a mile away that they could get to if they could, motor themselves under their own steam. But they can't because their muscles have wasted away because they don't go anywhere. So that's what we have to look forward to. And I know we're getting large here, but we're not as large as America. There must be a connection with what they eat. We're being poisoned. The human race is being poisoned. Information coming in here. Under EU regulations, if a hen has been inside for more than 12 weeks, it no longer counts as free range. Okay. But how do you tell whether a chicken's been out or not? You stand at the door and say, where are you going? And the chicken will say, out. For eggs under EU regulations, if a hen has been inside for more than 12 weeks, it no longer counts as free range. That doesn't make free range sound very appetizing, does it? A chicken can be inside, crammed in a shed for 12 weeks, and it'll pop out for the day, go down the shops, get the number 32 to the high street, get all of its chicken, requisites, and then pop back again. And that makes it free range. Big deal. I'll go orgasmic. Only orgasmic chickens for me. I'll pay the extra. We should all eat less but better. This says, for meat, the RSPCA states that chickens must have it. Oh, I don't care. Why are you bogging me down in this information?
I thought you'd like it.
No, I do not like it. That's the opposite of the truth. Stockton-on-Tees, Brian.
Yes, good evening, Nick.
Yes, Brian.
Morning, sorry. Well, 5 days,
I know.
22 hours,
Can you wait?
and 48 minutes.
I bet you're fit to
and
burst.
We're free.
Yeah.
The celebrations start.
Apart from we won't be free for at least another year. But, that's just a small detail.
Well, he's only been just about balanced 6 months. And what he's done is fantastic, Johnson.
Oh, really? What's he done?
He's been brilliant.
Here we go. Give us a list of the things that he's achieved.
Well, he's got an 80 majority in Parliament.
Yeah, well, we know that. Give us a list of what he's achieved for the country. Not him personally.
But now he can tell the country what to do. Labour's finished.
No, he can't.
All the others are finished.
Brian, you're completely wrong about that. Boris Johnson is not telling this country what to do. Donald Trump is telling this country what to do. Have you not been reading the news?
I'll tell you who's good. I'll tell you who's soon going to be telling what to do. The EU. You were talking absolute rubbish what you're saying tonight.
Oh, God.
Right.
Another flag waver. Go on.
You've had 3.5 years, Nick. 3.5 years, this. Change your record. 3.5 years.
Okay, all right. Well, get specific, Brian. What was it that I said that is wrong? Please don't tell me you think that the European Union need us more than we need them. Please tell me you don't still think that.
I'll say this first. In 3.5 years, you have never said not one wrong thing about the EU.
Thank you.
That is unbelievable.
Not one wrong thing have I ever said about the EU. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that.
That is 100%.
You don't even know what you're saying, do you? He's so full of gas, the gas of freedom, that he's got no idea what he's even saying anymore. Brian, please tell me you're not one of those people that thinks the European Union needs us more than we need them. Answer the question.
I know we do. You're bang wrong on this.
You know we do. Okay, explain the logic underlying that conclusion.
Right. We're leaving. You've accepted we're leaving in
Okay,
5
that's
years in
not
2012.
addressing the question.
No, have you accepted that yet, though?
Well, of course I have.
Right, thank you. You've accepted that.
Brian, I'm going to ask the question again. I'm not going to let you just go off on one of your God Save the Queen rants. Do you think, are you one of those people that thinks the European Union needs us more than we need them? Answer that question.
Right. Who's getting worried at the moment? The EU. I'll tell you why.
Who's getting weighed?
They said the EU, von der Leyen, I call her, right? She said, we're not going to... We're going to start them 1st of February. She said no in March. She's now went back on it and said, we're going to do February.
You're not answering the question, Brian.
They need us more than we need them.
Okay, you're a dope. I mean, really, I've had the conversations with you many times in the past, but you couldn't be more wrong. I mean, that you have learnt 0 in 3 years is actually quite staggering for somebody who professes to be up with current events. It's amazing what you don't know, Brian. The wall that you've built around your own mind so as to repel any new information, it's impenetrable, Brian. Painful is what it is. Still, people are coming out with this nonsense. Our exports go to the European Union. About half of our exports go to the European Union. Half. About 5% of Europe's exports come to us. In what parallel universe do they need us more than we need them?
Right, you're wrong for a start. Your numbers are wrong.
No, they aren't wrong. They're about half of what we produce goes to the European Union.
I'll tell you why you're wrong, shall I? It is now below.
Now you're upsetting
40%.
your own family, Brian.
It's the young kid. Just a sec, Gary, I'm on the phone, Gary. Hang on. Right. It is now below 40% and going down all the time.
No, it's incorrect.
It is
not
Nick.
true.
You know it is, right?
It's not true, but go on.
It is true. But it is true.
It isn't.
You have old numbers what suit your argument all the time. They're old numbers.
Well, okay, all right, I disagree with you. I think you're wrong. But even if it was 40%, do you think that the other number has risen to above 40%?
Right. Do they need
yes
our
or no?
39 billion? Do they need our 39 billion?
We need that
Yes or
more
no?
than they need us. The amount of money that we spend as to be a member of the European Union, which is a fact that you should have learnt 3 years ago, Brian. I mean, this stuff's not hard, really. Just read something every now and again that's not Facebook. I mean, talk about people living in a bubble, like a furious crimson bubble you live in. For every for every £100 that we give to the European Union to be a member of that band, almost 10 times as much comes back through benefits of being in that union. It doesn't just go out and we get nothing from it. You surely have learnt more than that.
Your numbers are wrong again, Nick.
Oh, for
again,
crying out loud, he's dithering and quibbling about fractions of percentages. Whether the numbers are wrong or estimates is neither here nor there. Talk to the actual picture that I'm painting. Don't quibble that it's not 47, it's 46, or it's not 39, it's 40. What difference does that make?
You've been listening to experts who you said don't listen to when
okay, I've been listening to experts, and there it is in a nutshell. I've been listening to experts.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we are no longer interested in the opinion of experts. We all make up our own facts and then stick to them, regardless of any new information that comes our way. I can't bear it, Brian. It's painful. I've been having this same conversation for 3 years with people like you. You refuse to take on board any new information. You're a flag-waving little Englander, Brian.
Everything is going extremely well.
You bet your life it is. George tweets, listening to Brian, I'm beginning to wonder if the coronavirus hasn't come just in the nick of time. We do need something to wipe out large numbers of people on this earth, and a virus seems to be just the very thing. I mean, it'd be better than a war, for instance. And it would be better than restricting families from having multiple babies, because you need a significant number of people to prop up the older people who are not economically active, and to take care of them. And we're just getting older and older and older. So restricting the number of babies that people can have doesn't work. Wars, very, very messy. But a virus, well, that'll just that'll just sweep through and take away a vast number of us. See, the planet is acting in the planet's interest. It will slough us off at one point when life becomes too out of balance that the planet itself is at threat. Then that's it. Time's up for us. Jim says, if I was a chicken, I'd stay in a nice cosy shed between November and March. Well, that is a good idea, Jim, but imagine the stench. You'd be inside for the warmth, but your little chicken head would be outside for the air. And Maxine in Croydon says, I would call, but I've given myself a headache. And it's quieter to text. She's a frequent caller, often very, very loud. She says, I was just wondering, you do have royal sound effects. I hope you are well. Yeah, I do have royal sound effects. That one. I'll play just a tiny, teeny little bit of it for Brian, who rushed to the cupboard to get his flag out, wave it in the air, like he just don't care. Like he just don't care about facts. I think he just likes a fight. He's one of those people that's addicted to the juice that squirts around his brain when he has an argument with people. He yelled so loud he woke his bye-bye up. Or somebody else's baby, I would suspect. Joseph tweets, I'm kind of shocked. I've not seen some Brexiters try to blame the EU for the outbreak of the coronavirus because they are the epitome of evil on this planet, apparently. Well, that's a good point, Joseph. I'll bet Donald Trump's trying to figure out a way to blame it on Hillary Clinton. You know, those what-about people. There's so many of those around. You present somebody with a fact or the evidence of criminality, and their response these days is always, well, what about those people over there? They did it and they didn't get caught. Or what about Hillary's emails? Or what about Benghazi? Or on and on and on. As though one criminality is expunged from your record just because somebody else also did something criminal or dodgy or suspect, or you made up that they did. The what about people. Harj texts, what is better, chocolate or cheese? Well, that is an excellent question, Harj. It depends. Thanks for asking. Depends on what you're making. If you're making a pizza, then you want cheese. If you're making a pudding, chocolate. Wimbledon, hello, Joe.
Hello.
Joe.
Yes, I'm awfully sorry about your tummy upset.
Yeah.
But you know what you need to do, but don't do it now.
Calm down.
Because that could cause something quite catastrophic to start. So just juice some greens, yeah?
Oh, no. Oh,
yes.
I'm feeling, my stomach is complaining just thinking about that.
Yeah, but believe me, it will...
I don't believe you.
You know, you will pass anything.
Oh, please.
That... Oh, I'm sorry, it's the truth. And you will,
Well,
and you'll feel cleansed.
I can't handle the truth.
Well, it seems like you can't.
No.
But it is true. You'll feel much better, though.
Well, you know what does sound good, and was the most pleasant thing that I ate today that made me feel least bad was fruit. And I'm not sure that that's actually recommended because it's citrus, isn't it? You think that it might upset your stomach. But it felt like, nectar. It just felt just the nicest thing to do. Vegetables, no. Fruit, yes.
If it feels good, do it. By the way, I'll tell you something else really exciting.
Yes.
I'm a first-time caller.
All right. Well, how did it work out for you, Joe?
Yeah, pretty good. I probably need a cigarette now. But
a cigarette and a lie down. Yeah, you deserve it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but you don't eat things like oysters.
No, I won't.
They're not. No, don't do that
ever again.
No, and I think it's very brave of you to have, come into work today and still, done what you had to do.
That's right. I'm a good boy.
You couldn't let us down.
No. Well, I didn't want to lose any money. There is that.
Yeah, they just wouldn't have paid you, really, would they?
Of course not. No. You don't do work, you don't get paid.
No.
All right, thanks a lot, Joe. There you are, you see. Supportive. Appreciate it, Joe.
Thank you.
Mark tweets, forget Monterey Jack, it's not proper cheese. Kraft singles, on the other hand. Yeah, that's what we've got to look forward to. Not actual food, but something that looks like food, with a massive advertising campaign behind it to make us eat it. And we can't get enough of all of that fake food. Just look at the supermarket aisles. Groaning with fake food they are. You know, the only thing that gets 2 aisles in the supermarket, I bet this is true for you. Go to a supermarket, a large one, the only thing that gets 2 aisles is crisps. Even pet food doesn't get 2 aisles. And that's it. If you subscribe to this podcast, the next episode will get squirted up your life as though by magic on Mondays. And don't forget the other podcasts that I do. There's the one with Carol McGiffin called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, in which the delightful Carol McGiffin and I do our best to solve people's problems while maintaining a straight face. If you want us to have a bash at your issue, send it to the following address: nickandcarol@global.com. That's NICKANDCAROL @global.com. And prepare for a certain amount of satisfaction. There's also the one called The Whole Show, which is, as it sounds, the whole show from Friday and Saturday nights on the radio with the ads and the news stripped out, which means it takes less time to listen to, you'll use less electricity, and won't have to sell a kidney to pay your fuel bill. And I'll be back on the radio Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. And until then, I'll be seeing you.
Bye-bye.